Welcome to my second video about progress bars in Python. In this video we'll cover progress bars and how we apply them to Pandas data frames. If you haven't seen the first video, check it out first because we explain the basics there. In the first step we will import all packages we need. We also load Seaborn to load the already included and known iris data frame, so we don't have to import it on our own or to download some other CSV file. Furthermore, you can see our helper function that we used in the previous video, which tells us if it's an iterable or not. So let's start. I'm again using the PyCharm Python console, so I will execute statement by statement. This will help you to follow the process. So let's import for our helper function the iterable. Then we import pandas. Then we also have some pandas API type functions that tell us whether a column is a string or numeric. Then we import Seaborn, which contains the dataset. Then we import time. We don't need that actually, and tqdm. And in order to make tqdm work for pandas, we need to execute this command, tqdm.pandas, and then call this function, so with the brackets. If you're using Python notebooks, Jupyter notebooks, you have to do it something differently, but you can easily Google it and you will find very fast solution how to do that. It's somehow similar. So let's do this. We get some warning, but it still works. So maybe it is deprecated and we need to replace it in the future, but now it works. So let's activate our helper function. And now we will load our dataset. So Seaborn, the package, it is typically used for data visualization. It's a little bit more advanced than Matplotlib. So it's basically very good for making really fancy visualizations. So let's call it. And it also has some dataset included. If you're doing machine learning, you will probably know this dataset. It's a very famous one. So, and just use head to show the data frame. So we have like 4 columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and species. So we have 5 columns, sorry. We have, these are probably integer values and 1 label. So let's check first the type of the column. We are focusing now for the tqdm tutorial on sepal length. So what I basically want to do is I want to apply some function to every row in the column of sepal length, and we will do this with apply and with LAMBDA function. If you don't know this, just Google it or watch out my other videos, I will explain it. But it's typically known, and for data scientists it's a very common operation. If you want to iterate over a column, you don't do this with iterator tools, but you do this with a LAMBDA function and an apply. And you can turn this apply to a progress apply in order to use the tqdm. So let's check. So it's false. I think we can do it is numeric. This will give true. Yes, so we need to convert it because I want just to add some very basic stuff. So let's define a helper function. Add 1. This is the function we will use in the data frame. Time sleep. We will use time sleep in order to make the progress bar a little bit slower. And return. So we go through sepal length. We first make it a string value, and then we add a 1. So we will get like 5.11, but as a string and not as an integer anymore. Let's execute this. So now comes the magic. We will create a new column. If we have columns, we have sepal length, sepal width, petal width, and we will a species, and we will create some other column. Let's call this view column, and we will create this based on iris sepal length. And instead of apply, because usually we are doing this, then we're creating a lambda function, which means that we are going through every row. So x represents the current row in the pandas data frame, and we are applying add 1 x. So if we are doing it in this way, we would get like 5.1 in the first place, and we will go through this function with x as 5.1 times leap, and then we will turn it to a string and add a 1 in it. Let's do this. Oh, sorry, apply. And as you can see, nothing happens. We have just to wait. We can't see anything happening, and it will maybe take some time. If it takes too long, I will just interrupt it. But this is like the problem. If you have some colleagues or some friends or some task like in the university or school, and you need to do it without a progress bar, you will just demonstrate it here in the code review, for example, and everybody have to wait. And this is not what we want. We can do it in a more fancy way, so it looks more professional. Let's wait a few seconds, and if it takes too long, I will just interrupt it. Okay, so I will interrupt it. So now I need to restart the pandas data frame, so let's do it. We can also do this one, although we don't need it. We need to load the data frame. And instead of 0.5, we will do 0.2 in order to make it faster. And so we have seen in the last example that we don't get a progress bar, but it's just stuck. So let's do it with a progress bar. And this is the command progress apply. So let's do it now. And we can see here, we have now the percentage. It's going way faster before because we have like a sleep of 0.2 and not of 1 second. But this is way better if you want to demonstrate your code to customers, to teachers, to colleagues, or to anyone who wants to see your code, because here you can see, okay, something is happening. And this is more satisfying than just waiting on a frozen screen. And in a few seconds we're done. So perfect. Let's view this as a data frame, and you can see our new column, and it's instead of 5.1 we have 5.11. So we added every time for every x, so for every row a 1. Let's do some last check in order to assure that this one is string d type. It's a string like we declared it here, and it should give us true, and we have it true. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope my video helped you. See you in the next videos. Bye.